The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, weekday afternoons at 5 Eastern on CNN.
In the midst of the uproar over plans to build an Islamic center near Ground Zero in New York, Muslims are free to worship at another site of the 9/11 attacks. We're talking about the Pentagon. Our Pentagon correspondent Chris Lawrence is joining us. You had an opportunity to visit one of those sites at the Pentagon where Muslims can pray.
Yeah, that's right, Wolf. I mean, you work this beat. You know, there was no chapel here before September 11th. It was because of the destruction where they had to rebuild an entire side of the Pentagon that they built this chapel for all faiths to use. Once a day, Muslim civilians and soldiers who work in the Pentagon come here to pray. Less than 100 feet from the terrible impact 9 years ago, where terrorists crashed a plane into the Pentagon and killed 125 people.
We're very tolerant here of one another and our faith.
Cameras aren't allowed in any of the actual services, but a chaplain tells me Muslim worshipers come at 2 o'clock every afternoon, lay out their prayer mats, and pray.
We don't keep track of who comes in here. We don't count numbers. We have estimates, of course, 300 to 400 a week. But people are free to worship here as they say fit.
Unlike the controversy in New York where they're debating city blocks, here in the Pentagon it's literally a matter of inches. That's the distance from a September 11th memorial to the front door of the chapel where Muslims worship.
It's not a mosque. All faiths get a chance to use the chapel. Take Wednesdays, for example. There's a Catholic Mass at 11:30, followed by Protestant Bible study, an Episcopal service, and then the Muslim prayers. On other days, Hindus and Mormons get their time slot too. On Fridays, there's a Jewish service, followed immediately by a Muslim one, where a local imam actually comes in to lead prayers.
Is it the same imam every week or pulled from a rotating group?
I think it's pulled from a rotating group.
There are nearly 3,700 Muslims in the U.S. military, but that's less than 1% of all service members. Some have deployed to the war zones, and Army Corporal Kareem Khan was awarded the Purple Heart posthumously after he was killed by a roadside bomb in Iraq. Yeah, we talked to several people who are affiliated with the chaplain's office, and they tell us that, you know, they're not making assumptions on what's going on in New York. They say just because this is the situation at the Pentagon, they say those people in New York, they feel have legitimate concerns about what's happening there. But again, this is something that all faiths are able to share right here, Wolf, literally on the site where that plane hit the building.
And there are Muslim chaplains in the U.S. military as well, right?
Exactly. There are Muslim chaplains, there are rabbis, there are Catholic priests, all who administer to service members both here and around the world.
Chris Lawrence, good report. Thanks very much. Helps keep it in perspective.